Hi, I'm Greg Ferris of ferrisfirearms.com and cedarridgerange.com. Wanted to make an introductory video here today to get you started on seeing some of the things that we at Ferris Firearms can do for you. A lot of people have asked about why do I have the ability to do a lot of the gunsmithing that I do, and what actually stimulated me in my life to come to the conclusion I needed the gunsmith. And realistically, it all started way back in the 70s when I became a police officer. I was very unhappy with the firearms and the ammunition that was issued to us as police officers. Seeing a number of failures out on the street didn't actually make me feel comfortable. So I started doing a bunch of things that would enhance my ability to survive a deadly force incident. I started working on my firearms, my friends' firearms, my fellow police officers, and I started doing something with the ammunition because, as usual with the typical government, they're doing low bids, so you're not exactly getting the best out there that there was to offer. So I started doing all of that, and as a result of that, a progression began where I started doing a lot of different things because people were requesting it, and I started getting into competitions, which also stimulated me to be able to actually do some gunsmithing because I wanted to at least match, if not have the advantage over my competitor by having better equipment and being able to use more advanced techniques. So the 1981 was when I opened my Ferris Firearms shop. It was sort of a part-time thing, and I started doing gunsmithing, and I found out that if I wanted to do gunsmithing and be able to fill a niche, I actually ended up having to create a niche. And in 81 there was a big niche for the 1911. And there was a big niche because action pistol shooting was just now coming into vogue at that particular point in time. We played with the bullseye shooting, we played with the police practical pistol, the PPC shooting, and now with action shooting it required a different firearm, and it required different techniques and different features on the firearm, so we started working on the 1911. And in that time period we started working with all the different competitors and found out that we actually needed to even have a club. So we started a club which stimulated business even further. Back then we started working with enhancing the 1911. There were many features which we'll discuss in later videos if you want to look at those. We'll be doing those a little bit later, but we want to let you know the credentials. So essentially I started out, I was one of the earliest ones to do compensated firearms. We did comp guns way back in the 80s. These were basically called pin guns or bowling pin guns, pin for short. We decided to start doing those, and I was one of the first ones in the area to do that because it gave you an advantage with the recovery of the firearm between the shots. You were actually faster and more accurate. So throughout the years, all of the different competitions have stimulated my gunsmithing interest and allowed me to start experimenting with different firearms and different equipment. As I went through, working in the gun shop became a full-time job, and eventually we ended up having to close the shop because we had an armed encounter. We actually had two. We had two armed robberies. I'm still here, a couple of them are not. So we'll be able to talk in later videos about that too if you're interested. So please, if you'd like, check out our follow-up videos. And if you want to, you can see credentials and background on ferrisfirearms.com and on cedarridgerange.com. Thanks for your time today. Appreciate it. Goodbye.